With the spotlight recently being put on Kiyora Jin in both the main story and episode Nagi spinoff, a lot of people have been theorizing on how or if he'll even manage to boost himself into the top 23. He currently seems to be aiming for an assist with a Michael Kaiser goal, but would that be even enough to get him a sufficient bid? In today's video, I'll be sharing with you all the reasoning and my theory on why Kiyora Jin should score the Bastion Munich's second goal. If you watched through today's video and appreciate the effort, feel free to support the channel by clicking that subscribe button, commenting below your thoughts, and also check out my community Discord down below in the description. Without further ado, let's get right into today's video, and let me just say, if I have to wait one more day for Blue Lock leaks, I might lose. To just start us off with a quick little recap on what's happened recently, the past 3 chapters have all had significant moments for Michael Kaiser, Alexis, Ness, and most interestingly, Kiyora Jin. Starting off with chapter 263, Borderline, we see an awakened Michael Kaiser targeting the gaps within Isagi's team play. As the two strikers run side by side during the last pages of the chapter, Kiyora Jin is shown prowling just outside of it all, waiting for his moment to shine through the chaos. Moving into the following chapter 264, the first few pages fittingly dive into a backstory of a young Kiyora Jin, as it's explained to us how he's always teetered on the borderline of everything. Whichever side he allied himself with would always win. His presence would determine the victor. This is the foundation of his fighting spirit and overall way of life, with this chapter also making one important factor also clear. This may be Kiyora Jin's first chance playing in the new Egoist League, but it's also his final opportunity to make his mark and earn value through making the top 23. This chapter also shows Kaiser working alongside Ryusei and Kunigami while ignoring Alexis Ness, and although looking betrayed and sad, the chapter ultimately ends with Ness gaining possession while assuring Kaiser that he still remains loyal. Finally moving into the most recent chapter 265, Alexis Ness makes what he believes to be the finishing pass to Kaiser. However, Michael ends up letting the ball continue behind him onto Kiyora Jin. He then also runs behind Kiyora instead of stealing the ball to then cut past multiple defenders, which then ultimately making a high-speed ground pass in the direction of Isagi yoichi. It ends up having intentional backspin though, and rolls back towards Kaiser, who despite having Charles and Rin at his front, pulls back his leg to shoot for a cliffhanger final page. The first point I'll be going over is why exactly Kiyora Jin picked Kaiser. Firstly, if you take a look at where Isagi is positioned in comparison to Michael Kaiser, it doesn't really make any sense why Kiyora would choose to not complete his initial pass. We can see that Isagi passed up his final defender here and was sprinting directly into the box. Meanwhile, Kaiser, this man was still breaking past 2 defenders while the ball was coming towards him. Not only does that take away the argument of unpredictability, Charles and Itoshi and even both arrive at his front, making it all the more obvious how open Isagi was comparatively. If we take a look at his official character sheet though, a possible hint can be found to explain why he made this decision. If you take a look at what he lists to make him happy, Kiyora apparently likes when people provoke him, because he can then plot about how he'll crush them in the future. Things start to make a bit more sense now, because if we look back into the Ubers match during chapter 230, Kiyora Jin was just about to get his chance to shine. Well, at least until Isagi stood up and argued that Yohiro would be better to get subbed on instead. Some people may say that at least Isagi was kind about it and complimented Kiyora, but not only did he indirectly say that Jin isn't game changer material, bottom line he denied my man playtime. It wouldn't be any kind of stretch to say that Kiyora Jin isn't the biggest fan of Isagi, but to even add some evidence to the fire, we've seen this before in the instance of Yukimi Akinyu. He too can see the hypocrisy within Isagi, and also the similarities between Michael Kaiser and his buddy. Yuki even refers to them as a pair of shitheads cut from the same cloth, essentially saying that they're the same person, and it hits even harder now. Isagi and Kaiser have basically shifted positions from the FC Bartra match to the now PXG match, so maybe Kiyora just simply sees more compatibility working alongside Kaiser. With chapter 265 ending off with Michael just in front of the ball though, only one question is being asked across every Blue Lock medium: will Kaiser actually score the second goal for Bastion Munich? Starting off with the first possibility of Kaiser indeed scoring the shot, let's go ahead and take a look at all the evidence pointing towards it, as well as what would happen afterward. The first thing people bring up to support this goal theory is the presence of the luck piece on the top right of the panel. The only other time I believe this was shown is during Isagi yoichi's winning U20 goal, but also Rin had his own luck goal when the ball cruelly descended upon its victor. Anytime someone has been lucky like this, they seem to end up scoring the goal afterwards, although I just don't find this to be sufficient reasoning considering it hasn't happened enough. Another thing people bring up is how Kaiser's backstory was shown just before, and now he's reverted to 0. But if backstories guarantee success, then Kaiser will score here and Alexis Ness will assist Isagi for the winning goal. If you believe that's the unfolding plot, then by all means, root for a Kaiser goal. I just personally don't want the author to make backstories into practically spoilers for the future goals or relevance. I personally am on the side of people who don't want or think Michael Kaiser will score this goal, with my reason being, I just think he needs to face more to spare. I'm not even being a hater, but it's not even been more than 2 minutes since his spiritual awakening. which I already felt was a bit rushed. He's completely abandoned his drive to achieve only the impossible, as instead of going for some crazy moving magnus impact, Kaiser's reverted to calm and rational gameplay, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Alexis Ness has also been hindered by this following alongside Kaiser, because instead of chasing after his magic and creating Hiyori level plays, Ness shackled his ego and has now even been abandoned. Missing this goal will not only test Kaiser's mentality and new evolution by seeing if he stays true to it, but it will also put Alexis Ness in a position to decide if he wants to stay the same with Kaiser, or awaken alongside him, or possibly someone else like Isagi. Another huge issue with Kaiser scoring here is that it would ruin the Isagi hattrick agenda, and no, I'm not even joking. He stated prior to the PhD match that his goal was to score at least a brace to surpass Itoshi Rin, so if Kaiser scores the second goal, tension and speculation is immediately lost. I think the best possible course of action here would be an unpredictable goal that benefits neither Isagi or Kaiser here. Keep in mind though, PhD could also be the projected winners of this game, so Kaiser could just score the second goal, leaving Isagi and BM to get thrashed. I honestly believe more than anyone though, Kiyora Jin should be the player to score Basha Munich's second goal, so let me start with the upcoming chapter title. Most people believe Superstar refers to either Isagi, Yoichi, or Michael Kaiser, which would make the most sense thinking about this on a basic sports level. Some people have even said that Julian, Loki, or Noah may come into the game, but more than anyone, Kiyora Jin is the superstar of the field. Being very talented and having a hobby of breakdancing, Kiyora showed off in the episode Nagi spin-off novel that he indeed has some crazy moves. Maybe instead of Superstar being about a sports player, the author could be subtly hinting at Kiyora Jin sneaking a goal. Looking at his stat page as well, Kiyora appears to have an 88 shooting stat, which is pretty high compared to most other Blue Lock NPCs. Although he would gain a significant boost in value from Kaiser scoring via his assist here, I'm not exactly convinced that would boost him up into the top 23. I guess he could go on to have further impact in the game and continue to boost his value, but let's be honest, whatever he's cooking here is it for this game. The most likely scenario I can see a Kiyora goal occurring is Charles or Rin potentially blocking the Magnus impact, leaving the ball flying off to someone else. Kiyora could also redirect the shot in, replicating Kunigami's goal during the Manshine match, which would not only be badass, but also super funny moment to witness for Kaiser. I just feel like an Isagi or Kaiser goal here would make the writing far too predictable based on how it's done, and more than anything, I'm tired of this matchup just being the same 4 people in flashbacks. Kiyora Jin needs to score here in order to boost himself into the top 23, make the writing more unpredictable, and more than anything, to leave the third goal and outcome even more hype. Let me know what you guys think of this all down below, because I'm 100% sure some of you think I'm delusional. Or maybe I've converted you to the Kiyora Jin bandwagon. Whatever your theories may be, we all still have to wait sadly until either Friday or Saturday for what might be the most anticipated Blue Lock League drop ever. With that being the last of my thoughts and the end of today's video, I just want to thank you all so much for tuning into the channel. If you enjoy the content I push out and would like to support me, please make sure to click that subscribe button, comment below your thoughts, and also feel free to join my community Discord in the description if you'd like to interact directly. I hope you all continue to have amazing days, and please, try to maintain your sanity until chapter 266 leaks or the chapter.